Welcome to this presentation on building portfolios and understanding the process. Portfolio assessment is a term with many meanings, and it is a process that can serve a variety of purposes. A portfolio is a collection of student work that can exhibit a student's efforts, progress, and achievement in various areas of the curriculum. A portfolio assessment can be an examination of student-selected samples of work, experiences, and documents related to outcomes being assessed, and it can also address and support progress towards achievement of academic goals, including student self-efficacy. So, a portfolio, by its very nature, is always a work in progress. Portfolios are designed as authentic assessment tools and includes a collection of work that is used to evaluate your learning progress. This means that you do need to engage in higher order thinking as inquiry and reflection is required. Students who need to undertake portfolio assessment have got to show not only experience relevant to the curriculum and course, but also to provide documentation that demonstrates that experience has led to learning consistently over a period of time and towards learning outcomes. In other words, it is not sufficient to merely have an experience, it is necessary to document what learning has occurred as a result of these actions. A portfolio demonstrates your development. In addition, it is used to present your competencies in a particular area. In education, we use portfolios including a range of products. So we do include reflections, results of assignments, examples of feedback, perhaps even self-assessments and peer assessments. All of these are products that can be included in your portfolio. The different types of portfolios will, of course, mean that different types of artifacts are selected. A showcase portfolio contains products that demonstrate how capable you are at a particular given moment. An assessment portfolio contains products that can be used to assess your competencies. A development portfolio shows how you have developed over a period of time and therefore demonstrates growth. This type of portfolio will often contain products from various stages of the process, stages in which feedback has been provided, and probably how artifacts have been approved upon, but also artifacts that are still in progress. Just remember that when we are thinking about portfolio assessments, we are trying to assess certain goals, knowledge, skills, dispositions. In terms of knowledge, we are really looking at the cognitive learning domain, and this is what you have learned by attending classes perhaps, workshops, through course readings and related literature. This is research and theoretical information that form your knowledge base. Sample artifacts would include essays, traditional exams perhaps, certificates of completion, literature reviews, summaries of research reports, assessment reports, or even case studies. With regard to skills, we are really looking at this psychosocial learning domain. These are the specific abilities and skills that you have and can apply in authentic settings. Sample artifacts would include essays, written reports, research products, case studies, literature reviews, planning and implementing of workshops. When we think about dispositions, we are looking at authentic learning domains. This would include beliefs, attitudes, values, commitment, and a desire to meet certain standards. Sample artifacts of this would include philosophies of education, reflections on assignments, journal entries, supervision observation reports, self or peer assessment. Just remember that the primary purpose of a portfolio is to assess these competencies developed in the module as well as the course. It is thus vital that you reflect on your competencies to ensure that these are captured in evidence that is included in your portfolio. You must also remember that a portfolio integrates different forms of assessment, for example, summative and formative assessment. Therefore, it is essential that you pay close attention to the amount of time that is needed to compile your portfolio, but also what the various standards of assessment would be to ensure that you actually meet these. Remember that a portfolio assessment enables you to represent your learning over the module or perhaps over a course, and also to take responsibility for your own learning. Selecting artifacts is intended to demonstrate how the connection between what is expected and what is achieved can actually be illustrated. So when thinking about portfolios in this light, the assessment task promotes reflection, self-evaluation, and engagement. It is thus vital that you read the criteria very carefully, that you refer to any rubrics that are provided. It is also essential that you organize your portfolio, that you have a cover page, table of contents, and that you label each of the sections clearly. Make sure that you include the reflections when you are requested to do so. This is vital as your lecturer is going to be looking for a number of elements within your portfolio. Firstly, thoughtfulness, comprehension and metacognition, that reflection process that I was talking about earlier. In terms of growth and development, remember, we are always assessing you against outcomes, so we are looking for these context expectations as well as indicators and to what extent these have been met. We are also looking for understanding and application of key processes. Completeness, correctness, and appropriateness of products and processes that have been included, which then leads to a diversity of artifacts that have been included in order to demonstrate achievement. Very often your lecturer will provide the instructions and guidelines for your portfolio submission. Read these very carefully. A portfolio used for assessment and evaluation requires a student to engage in higher order thinking through the use of inquiry and reflection. This is what I indicated earlier, but what do I mean? Thinking about inquiry, I mean involving and getting involved in a process of collecting, sorting, selecting, describing, analyzing, and evaluating evidence to answer questions about how well the evidence represents your accomplishments in terms of the standard goal or objective. You are involved in this process, and it's very, very similar to action research because it also means that you are continually reflecting, questioning, and resorting the selection of work that you've included. Remember that as part of your portfolio assessment, you're also questioning your own personal practice and what it is that you would like to demonstrate. A portfolio can include coursework, artistic pieces, photographs, and a variety of other media, as I have indicated in an earlier slide. Each item that is selected to go into the portfolio is chosen within the parameters of the purpose of the portfolio itself. Your lecturer should also provide a rubric, such as represented on the screen, which will be used to mark your portfolio. A rubric is an assessment tool used to evaluate a range of performance across several different categories as well as criteria. For each category or criteria, a rubric defines the specific attributes that will be used to score or judge your work. It also differentiates between different levels of performance. By reviewing the rubric, you will have a fair idea of what needs to be included as well as the level of detail required. I trust that this presentation has been a good presentation in terms of helping you to prepare for your portfolio assessment. I wish you all the best with your studies. Thank you.